Pacifica, this is Democracy Now!
So Google is in itself a type of private national security agency. It's in the business of collecting as much data around the world as possible about as much people and places as it can, making interconnections between this data in order to make people more predictable, in order partly to sell them advertisements. That's its business model. But also it has become a target for the National Security Agency.
Today, in a holiday special, we go to London to speak with Julian Assange inside the Ecuadorian embassy on when Google met WikiLeaks, then to the comedian Russell Brand.
Is it true your dad went to summer camp with Chomsky? And if it is true, I bet Chomsky was boring on summer camp. Okay, I'm not doing that. That's childish. No, come on, sit down. This summer camp is corrupt. I refuse to abide by this system. Well, it's quite clear that this summer camp is run by the interests of the leaders there, and we, the children, are not given any time to be free.
All that and more coming up. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. In this holiday special, we begin with an exclusive Democracy Now! Interview with WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. In July, I interviewed Julian Assange after he just entered his third year inside Ecuador's embassy in London, where he has political asylum. He faces investigations in both Sweden and the United States. In the U.S., a secret grand jury is investigating WikiLeaks for its role in publishing a trove of leaked documents about the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, as well as State Department cables. In Sweden, he's wanted for questioning on allegations of sexual misconduct, though no charges have ever been filed. During his interview, Julian Assange talked about his new book, which had not yet been released when I was in the embassy with him. It's called When Google Met WikiLeaks. The book was published in September. I began by asking Julian Assange to explain the book's title.
The title of the book is When Google Met WikiLeaks. And so that's the interesting thing. Did Google ever meet WikiLeaks? Okay, lots of people have heard of both of these institutions, and in some ways they seem very different. In some ways, they seem quite similar. Both are involved in, it seems, spreading information around the world across borders and also collecting information. Eric Schmidt, the now chairman of Google, came to visit me under house arrest secretly in 2011. And
when you were under house arrest in Britain?
When I was under house arrest in the UK, in fact, rural UK, in quite an isolated location. And he had a party of 3 other people that came with him. Now, the reason or pretext for that visit was that Eric Schmidt was working on a book. And the book was called The New Digital Age. In fact, that book was eventually published last year. It wasn't, and is an interesting book to read to sort of understand where Google wants to position itself in terms of the Washington establishment. To sum it up, The New Digital Age, that book by Eric Schmidt, is Google's call to Washington to represent itself as America's geopolitical visionary. So as far as geopolitics is concerned and where it's going and its integration with technology and the internet as a global structure, Google has the answers, and Google can explain how to get there. Now, that was the outcome. Who else came to the party back in 2011? It wasn't just Eric Schmidt who came to see me. He had a retinue of 3 people. Those were Jared Cohen, Lisa Shields, and Scott Malcolmson. Now, I didn't really think about that visit and the other people who came to see me for this interview until much later, until we were publishing State Department cables, and in fact we were going to publish a lot of State Department cables back in September 2011. And for various legal reasons, we needed to document that I had tried to make a telephone call to Hillary Clinton. And so, having been at this game for a while as a journalist, this is how you get to someone who's in an influential position of power. You say there's a person-to-person call from Julian Assange to Hillary Clinton. You get one of your people to do it, say, I'm Julian Assange's PA, and gradually you rise up the levels of the bureaucracy. And so we did that with Hillary, went in through the front door, and after some minutes, I got up to her senior legal advisor, who said that she was in a meeting and that they would call back. And then we did get a call back, but it wasn't by Hillary Clinton. It wasn't by, at least initially, by anyone from the State Department. It was by Lisa Shields, the person who'd come with Eric Schmidt, who was in fact, at that time, Eric Schmidt's girlfriend. So Lisa Shields was used as a back channel by Hillary Clinton to check that it really was me that was trying to communicate with her. And that back channel turnaround happened in half an hour. So at that moment, we came to understand that the chairman of Google was in fact very close to the State Department. In fact, he was literally sharing the bed in some way with the State Department.
Because Lisa Shields worked in the State Department?
Lisa Shields didn't work in the State Department. Lisa Shields is the head of communications for the Council for Foreign Relations, which is kind of close to the State Department, but she doesn't formally work for the State Department. So this is a very informal thing. So who else was in that party? What were they about? Well, there's Jared Cohen. Now, it turns out that Jared Cohen, who's the co-author of that book with Eric